leader. They want to hear from the mayor. If y'all ain't learned that yet, the mayor, not the trustees that don't do nothing, that only run their mouth. Y'all don't do no work, no work. Be ashamed of yourself. Y'all black. Y'all are black. And y'all sitting up here beating and attacking on a black woman that's in power. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. So this is what it's all about, guys. They don't want a black person in power.
Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing fine now. There is this Jamaican lady who comes out to say black Americans complain too much and she gets backlash from her own people. So let's watch this video, then have a quick discussion about the same. Thank you so much.
They don't want a woman in power. You don't even, if you ain't seen that yet. And someone so young. Everybody gotta understand, God give you what you can handle. That's what God give you. He ain't gonna give you more than that. As long as you can stay the course, fight the fight, and keep going, that's what we're gonna do here at Thornton Township.
Clerk, what are you doing? You out of order. You out of order. Did I call the roll? Did I say call the roll? I'm still speaking. You're out of order, Clerk Key. You out of order, Clerk Key. Like, stop. Y'all out of order. Everybody want to run stuff. Y'all don't run this house over here. Stop, please.
So now you have to listen in order to learn. Remove her.
I'm going to speak for my whole country. Love Jamaica. But I think quite a few Jamaicans think that you guys play the victim a lot. Like an outsider looking in, it's like, gosh, them complain about everything. Look how much opportunity them have. Look how them can work. Look how them can buy $1 burger. And them over there complain. And that is how I was preconditioned, if I'm being totally honest. They're like, Shante,
makes sense.
Yeah, don't go over there and waste the opportunity. Don't go over there and start complaining. Work for your own, focus on that. So that's always been my mindset. We're so focused on just making it. I really want to emphasize that. But sometimes when you just are focused on, oh, you go eat, you know, things say somebody I touch you. You know, things say, you know, oh, I'm not have the right temperature. I'm hungry. What y'all gonna do? Like,
all right. So I wanted to let that play. So let's go ahead and back it back up. We'll start it back up. I want to stop it, and then we just have this conversation, okay? All right.
I'm not gonna speak for my whole country. Love Jamaica, but I think quite a few Jamaicans think that you guys play the victim a lot.
Let's stop right there. Okay. So she said a lot of Jamaicans, even though she says she don't speak for all Jamaica, but that. Okay. She said a lot of Jamaicans that maybe agree like with her that we play the victim. Play. Most black Americans I know is not out here playing. Okay? Just on a good day, this not playing. I don't walk up to most black Americans and they try to play games with me. They playing something, right? So when you say play the victim, ma'am, the same people who have victimized black Americans have victimized Jamaicans. Remember, Jamaica was a slave colony that victimized Jamaicans. Even to this day, the same people that oppressed Jamaicans and had them enslaved is still ruining their homeland today, along with the Chinese colonizing and all of that, right? Even to this day. You look in America, black Americans are victimized in every step of the way. Do you really think we want to be victims? Do you really think we say, you know what? My Lord, I just want to be the biggest victim ever. We want to be left the hell alone from everybody. We don't want nobody messing with us. We don't want no police. We don't want no other groups. Leave us alone. Listen, we can't even go nowhere in peace without everybody following behind our behind. No matter where we go in America, somebody following black Americans. And if we are victimized by the police, the criminal injustice system, if we are being victimized by politicians, putting laws and ordinances and taxes and all kind of things that they're doing to us that's victimizing black Americans, or black Americans are being victimized in the financial realm in the banks and can't get home loans and business loans or personal loans, or when we do get something, it's predatory lending where the interest rates are so high. We are being victimized. Black homeowners that own a home try to sell their home is worth less for the simple fact they're black. That's being victimized. Yes, we are victims. I am a victim of white supremacy. Ma'am, you're a victim of white supremacy. Black Americans are victims, whether you like it or not. I don't know why you saying that, or people that agree with, at least with your sentiment are saying that we're playing the victim when you're living in the victim status too. You're a victim of not being able to go on your own beach. You're a victim. You're a victim of not being able to control your own port. Another power is controlling your port. You're being victimized. And that other power, China, is not looking out for Jamaicans. Sister, you're a victim in your own homeland. Jamaicans can't fish. A lot of Jamaicans they can work on the resort, but they can never go to the resort because economically they're being victimized. You are victims, ma'am. A lot of countries in the diaspora are being victimized. Just the difference is we accept truth in America. We accept the truth that we are victims. And see, the white supremacists like to say, you guys like to play the victim. The reason why the white supremacists say that is because when we speak truth to power, it not only vexes their soul, the little bit they got, it not only vexes their soul, but it torments their spirit. In the scriptures, it teach that when the Holy Spirit came to the earth, his main ministry was to convict men of sin. Now, the scriptures also taught that God would use the foolishness of preaching to not only save, but also to condemn and bring to hell too, right? Well, when Black Americans are speaking the truth, and you know how Black Americans are, when we speak, the world listens. And when we're preaching the truth, it vexes the soul of the white supremacist. Why? Because he and his whole bloodline is guilty of sin and unrighteousness. And what he's living and starting to see, the curse is starting to fall upon him and his children and his children's children, what he has done to God's children. So, of course, anything that they say, they want us to be quiet. They don't want us telling the history. Well, stop. Why are you talking about history so much? You're not a victim. Basically, stop talking about it because you're vexing my soul by telling the truth about what I did and what my people did and what my family lineage are. Then they try to get out of it and say, well, I had nothing to do with it. Don't matter. The scriptures teach that the sins of the fathers will visit the children up to the third and fourth generation. You are guilty because of that sin, and you're living off of the spoils of that sin. You could make it right, but you choose not to. So you're just as guilty as your wretched ancestors. You're guilty. Matter of fact, you're more guilty because you know what they did was wrong. You know what they did was wrong, and you still won't make it right to get yourself from underneath it, right? When you talk about reparations, it vexes them to hear you talk about reparations. You haven't got a dime of reparations. You haven't got a dime. But why does it bother them so much to talk about reparations? Because in their soul and in their spirit, they know you're owed that because of all the theft they done to Black America, stealing your possessions, stealing your land, your homes, your businesses, your life, your churches, anything that we ever had, inventions, whatever, they stole, and the wealth they hold is from the theft of Black Americans. So when you talk about reparations, that's why they get so angry about it. Because we haven't got a dime. But yet they get so mad about the conversation of reparations. Y'all got to look at things in the realm of the spirit sometime. And stop looking at the natural. That's why they get mad at you. When you call out their anti-Black racism, they know what they're doing is wrong and evil. They know. That's why they want you to shut up. Please, Black America, be quiet. Stop talking about that. And listen, all these other groups that's coming in this country, they don't feel that way about them because they didn't do to them what they did to us. Even though they did things into their homelands and why they run over here, okay? But they know directly what they done to Black Americans. So, of course, they prefer a brother or sister that's a distant cousin from the diaspora over Black Americans. Because when they look in the eyes of Black Americans, their guilt and shame is looking them right in the eye. You know, your names is part of their guilt and shame. When your last name is Johnson and Williams and Smith and Scott and all different names like that, that is part of their heritage of evil. They don't feel that way when somebody from Nigeria come over with their names. They don't feel that way. Even our names convict them of sin. Okay? So, yes, we are a victim. We have been victimized, and we have been continued to be victimized. Even today in 2024, we are victimized. Don't let them tell you, you know, because also you got some step and fetch it black folks. Why would a grown man say he's a victim? Well, you got to remember, they had them people on the plantation too, right? And you got to remember, when you hear them talking, that's massa we sick talk. Massa, I'll get them black people. Don't you worry, massa. We got the same mentality in 2024 as you had in 1824 on the plantation, okay? So that's why I don't even worry with them people. I understand the mentality. So yes, we have been a victim. Jamaicans have been a victim. Caribbeans have been a victim. African continent has been a victim. We all have been victims. You cannot get reparations or any just due without recognizing that you have been victimized. Why don't you tell the Jewish community about stop playing the victim when they talk about it? Why don't you tell the people that went through 9/11? Why don't you tell them stop playing the victim? Right? What about people, the Oklahoma bombing they had over there with Timothy McVeigh? And they bring that up. Tell them stop playing the victim. You don't tell a Native American stop playing the victim. And they get money. To this day, they get money, they get land, they get set aside, they get tax-free status. Why don't you tell them stop playing the victim? It's only when black Americans say something, now everybody got to say stop playing the victim. Because unfortunately, you drunk the Kool-Aid of the devil. God wants righteousness and wants justice. The devil wants unrighteousness, sin, and evil, and injustice. Be careful looking down on us when you are in a worse condition, because at least in America, I can go to the beach. Okay, let's
the outsider looking in, it's like, gosh, them complain about everything. Look how much opportunity them have. Look how them can work. Look how them can buy $1 burger. And them over there complain. And that is how I was preconditioned, if I'm being totally honest. They're like,
okay, let's talk about the complaining. Now, the $1 burger, them days are gone, sister. $1 burgers. And if you don't get a $1 burger if you got one here today. Okay, let's talk about the complaining. Let's talk about that. In a lot of your homelands, you can't complain because a lot of your politicians are so wicked, they put you in jail if you call out their corruption. So you're so used to not saying anything because of fear. Well, as we said here, the genocide.
Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing fine. Now, there is this Jamaican lady trending because of trolling black Americans just because they complain. And she says that black Americans complain too much. Now, on my side, my opinion is I don't agree with her. However much she thinks she's right, I don't agree with her. It is because of the complaints that the black people are where they are today. The black people have had a hard time fighting racism, classical racism in the US and so many other countries in Europe, including France, Germany, UK. So if they achieve success, it is because they have complained a lot. Remember, these people were taken, most of them were taken, their ancestors were taken from Africa, taken in the US and in the Caribbean as slaves, not to go and maybe be ministers or something in the US or judges or teachers. No, they were taken to go and work in the plantations, in the sugar plantations, in the wheat plantations. That's why the US, the success the US has today, it's because of the sweat, the hard work of the black people. The Industrial Revolution that was achieved in the 1970s and 1980s in the US, it was facilitated by the hard labor brought around by black people who were taken as slaves in Africa and most of the African countries. So if they complain today, and if they complained 100 years back, and if they are still complaining, it is because they go through a lot of hardship. How many cases have we seen of police brutality against black people? So many. How many discriminations, racism have we seen being targeted on the black people? So many. And there comes a black lady who really says black Americans are complaining too much. Someone should call her to order, because the black people have had a very rough time coping up with the environment in the US. Maybe if she could be the one living there all her life, the parents, she could have even run away. It is not. It is through these constant complaints that the black Americans can now enjoy some freedoms and rights in the US. Now, have you ever been into a country where you were born in that country, but you do not feel to be one of those people because of the constant discriminations? Some people look down upon you. They classify people according to color. Not all whites are bad, but majority of them are bad. Some of them are bad, but we have some good people who have taken these black sisters and brothers as their own. They have realized these are human beings just like us, and they can do even more better than us. If it were not for the black people, maybe the economic stability that most European countries and the US enjoy, they could no longer have it at all. It is because of the hard labor they brought around that led to the industrial revolutions that they had. That's why they are that's where they exist, where they are today. So it is not in order when someone comes and says they are complaining too much. Yes, they complain because they go through a lot of problems. If you've had a little bit of the black American history, you will know whatever is happening, the black history. You will know why they keep on complaining. They keep on complaining because they keep on being discriminated. So should they be discriminated in silence? Should they be targeted in silence? No, hell no. That's why they come out in their large numbers to complain, and sometimes they even put up demonstrations to show those people we are humans like you, and it is because of our hard labor that you are where you are today. If it were not for the black people hard work, maybe your country could not be where it is today. So please, some respect for black Americans. You know the trauma they have gone through, they have been raised through. Imagine going to a school where everyone discriminates you. The police discriminates you. Some groups of black people are even being targeted. But who talks about that? No one. No one helped them talk about it. So they had to stand strong on the ground and complain a lot. That's why they enjoy some freedoms today. If it were not for the constant complaints they made, maybe things could be worse than it is today. So anyone who thinks will come around and maybe talk ill about the black Americans, hell no. You won't be allowed to do that, because these people have gone through a lot. Some of us have been born in Africa, raised in Africa, so we enjoy because we were not discriminated. We've been growing up with our own people. We've gotten the love, which is quite the opposite when it comes to black Americans. So some respect for them, please. The Caribbeans have gone through a lot. They exist in the Caribbean as a result of slave trade. So they didn't plant themselves where they are today. It is because of something that happened, and they are the product of slave trade. So please, some respect for the Caribbean black Americans, and black Americans do respect their brothers. And I've come across so many channels from the black Americans who talk about the atrocities the Caribbeans go through. So it is not in order when someone comes from the Caribbean and starts dividing the unity the black people have enjoyed in the US or in the North America. So let's please be very cautious with whatever we say, because when you talk some things like this, it's like you are reviving a wound that was already, or that was almost getting healed. So let's please be cautious with whatever we say to our brothers and sisters. Much respect to our black American brothers, because it is the hard labor that they put in. That's where the US, the European continent is where it is today. If it were not for their hard labor, if it were not for the labor they produced in their farms, I do not know if they could be enjoying the economic stability they have today. So some respect to these guys, much respect. Thank you so much for having taken your time to watch this video. If it's the first time, please consider subscribing, and if you think it really resonates with you, please share, like, and leave a comment. Thank you so much. See you in my next episode.